Okay, hello Cloud Gurus and welcome to this lecture. In this lecture we're going to talk about how we can design our applications to maximize their performance with S3. We're going to start with S3 prefixes. So what is a prefix within S3? Well, let's have a look at an example, and we use this first example. So we've got my bucket name, which is the name of our bucket. We then have a folder, which is a folder called folder 1, and within folder 1 we have another folder which is called subfolder 1, and then we have our object. So in this example it's myfile.jpg. So a prefix is simply the middle bit between the bucket name and the object. So it's simply this, it's folder 1, subfolder 1. So that's all a prefix is. In another example, we've got the same bucket name, but we've got folder 2, subfolder 1. So that forms a new prefix, which is folder 2, subfolder 1. In here, the prefix would just be folder 3 because it's between the bucket name and the object name. And in this example, we've got folder 4, subfolder 4, and that would be the prefix. So that's all a prefix is. So why is this important? Well, the cool thing about S3 has extremely low latency. You can get the first byte out of S3 within 100 to 200 milliseconds. And then in terms of optimizing your performance on S3, it's all about the prefixes. So you can achieve a high number of requests. You can do 3,500 put, copy, post, and delete, as well as 5,500 get or head requests per second per prefix. So what you can do is you can get better performance by spreading your reads across several different prefixes. For example, if you're using 2 prefixes, you can achieve 11,000 requests per second. And if we used all 4 prefixes in our last example, you'd achieve 22,000 requests per second. So essentially it's just 5,500 requests per prefix, and we've got 4 prefixes, so that gives us 22,000 requests per second. So that's how we can get good performance out of S3 using prefixes. The more prefixes we have, the better performance we can achieve. So bear that in mind when you're designing your application and when you're designing your S3 bucket. Another thing you need to keep in mind when designing your application or S3 bucket is if you're using KMS. So if you're using server-side encryption KMS to encrypt or decrypt your objects, you're going to hit certain KMS limits. So for example, when you upload a file, you're going to call the generate data key in the KMS API. And when you download a file, you will call the decrypt in the KMS API. The KMS is going to have a certain number of limits. So uploading and downloading will count towards the KMS quota, and the quota is region specific. So it depends on the region. However, it's either 5,500 requests per second, 10,000 requests per second, or 30,000 requests per second, depending on the region. And currently, you cannot request a quota increase for KMS. So if you are using server-side encryption for KMS, just bear in mind that when you're encrypting and decrypting data, you're going to hit these hard limits, and it is region specific. What are some other ways we can increase performance with S3? Well, we can do what's called multi-part uploads, and this is recommended for files over 100 megs, and it's actually required for files over 5 gigs. And essentially it allows you to parallelize your uploads. I hate saying that word, parallelize your uploads, but essentially it increases your efficiency. So say we've got this big file and say it's 10 gigs in size. What will happen is your application will go ahead and split this into parts. It will split the file into parts, and it will then upload those files to S3 using parallel uploads. So that's all multi-part uploads are as well. And we can do it for uploads, so why not downloads? And we do this using a thing called S3 byte range fetches. And this is basically where you parallelize your downloads by specifying byte ranges. And if there's a failure in the downloads, it's only for a specified byte range. So again, we've got our bucket with our objects in it, and we've got our users who want to pull a big object out of there. It might be 10 gigs in size. So we take our big file and we split it into parts, and then those users will then download those objects in a parallel fashion, which will speed it up. And like I said, if there's a failure in the download, it's only going to be for a specific byte range. So S3 byte range fetches can be used to speed up your downloads. It can also be used to just download parts partial amounts of the file. So it might be that your file in the first 64 kilobytes has just the header information. That's all you need. You can design your application to pull the first 64 kilobytes of that header information out of S3, and then you don't need to download the entire file. So onto my exam tips. We just looked at S3 performance. Remember, it all starts with prefixes. Prefixes are simply is the pathway between your bucket name and your file. So in here, this is our prefix, folder 1, subfolder 1. And the more prefixes you use, the better performance you're going to get out of S3. So you can achieve a high number of requests with S3. You get 3,500 put, copy, post, or deletes per prefix, and 5,500 get head requests per prefix per second. And you can get better performance by spreading your reads across different prefixes. For example, if you're using 2 prefixes, you can achieve 11,000 requests per second. If you're using SSE KMS to encrypt your objects in S3, you must keep in mind the KMS limits. Uploading and downloading will count towards the KMS quota. It is region specific, however, it's either going to be 5,500, 10,000, or 30,000 requests per second, and currently you cannot request a quota increase for KMS. Also remember to use multi-part uploads to increase your performance when uploading files to S3. It should be used for any files over 100 megs, and it must be used for any file over 5 gigs. And then use S3 byte range fetches to increase performance when downloading files from S3. So that is it for this lecture, everyone. If you have any questions, please let me know. If not, feel free to move on to the next lecture. Thank you.